Amber Austin-Wright is in the Belgian capital. Amber, it appears two of the bombers were well known to police before this attack.
Georgie, we now know the terrorists have been on the radar and were known to police, and for now that's the focus for authorities. But for the locals here, it's on recovering. There has been a steady stream of people turning out here at Place de la Bourse to pay their respects. And while there is a heavy sadness, there also is a great resistance, with some of the locals here telling us they've been somewhat comforted by this strong security presence on the streets.
This is a city united in grief and in prayer. People here have laid flowers, lit candles and embraced.
Actually, it's a really positive movement you have, notwithstanding the fact that it's really, it's a really sad moment as well for the whole country.
And as children paint signs at the memorial, there have been moments. Here a Jewish man lays his tribute and an Arab stranger and the crowd say thanks. But away from the memorial, Brussels looks like a city at war. Troops stand guard on street corners, the airport remains shut, and at the metro station, no one is getting through without having their bags and themselves thoroughly checked.
That line is actually the metro that I would catch, and that's the stop that I would get off at.
Zoya Sheftalovich is an Australian journalist working in Brussels. She was at the Malbec stop just minutes after the bomb ripped the subway train apart.
Lots of people who were crying around the scene, and it was just people didn't quite, I don't think people understood what was happening at that point. I don't think it was clear that this was another terror attack and how many people were dead.
Those killed are slowly being identified. Leopold Hecht was 20 and studied law. He died in the train attack. Olivia Delespese also died underground, while Adelma Tapia Ruiz was killed at the airport. Her twins and husband narrowly avoided being victims too.
The twins were at the airport too in Brussels and were on their way to New York to meet up with her sister. The attack obviously stopped that.
But there are so many more still missing, like David Dixon. He was at the airport and got out with his life. He messaged loved ones to say he was okay and then boarded a train back to the city centre. That train was bombed. He hasn't been heard from since.
Many of the people here in Brussels felt it was only a matter of time before terrorists carried out an attack. The city had already been on high alert, and now, a day after the worst atrocity Belgium has seen, those who live here remain admirably defiant.
And of course, everyone is in fear right now. After a few days, I think we have to get that out of the way and continue living like we used to do.
For now though, Belgians are standing side by side. Just like in Paris, they won't let this terror rule them.
This is the second National Day of mourning across the country, but it has been interesting to see how many businesses and schools have been open and operating here in Brussels. Unlike Paris, people haven't been told to stay indoors, so it shows that this is a city that is really fighting back.
Thank you for that update. Amber Austin-Wright in Brussels.